Hi friends, it's election day, November 3rd. This is a different kind of prayer dance. I had a week from hell. Wednesday last week, a drugstore gave me an injection I didn't ask for, negligence, and I had a kind of reaction to it for a couple of days. Luckily I didn't die. Anyway, probably because of that, a day and a half later, I fell down some stairs and broke two bones in my right foot, which was my good leg. I'd been dealing with a left knee injury. And 2 days after that, my son was diagnosed with COVID-19 up in Vermont. So I can't dance right now. My dances will look different. My prayer dances will look very different for a while. I'll be moving, but anyway, The Power of Mindfulness to Free Us from Fear by Jack Kornfield. I'm going to share some readings from some passages from that. Fear is a natural thing. It's our organism's way to try to protect itself. But as human beings, we can spin out a great deal with it. Mark Twain said, "My life has been filled with terrible misfortunes, most of which never happened." Kornfield says that he teaches people how to sit and acknowledge the fear as if to bow to it, pay respect, because it is very powerful. How does it feel in the body? What are the stories that it tells? Are they true or not? What are the emotions that come with it? Sometimes there's grief with fear, or there's loss, or there are various kinds of pains that come. And we can tease those apart and realize that you can be present for them in a spacious way. The image from Buddhist psychology is if you put a teaspoon of salt in a cup of water, it tastes very salty. But if you put the same spoon of salt in a lake, the water is pure and clear. In the same way, you can make the heart more spacious and open and gracious so that fear and confusion are held in a spacious heart. I'm using the word heart quite deliberately as well as the word mind because we talk about mental health, but it's also the health of the heart. What we bring to the measure of fear or confusion or sorrow is this capacity of loving awareness to say, yes, this too is part of the tainted glory of humanity. This is part of life, my life, and others. We all share in this. There's a field of compassion, and we discover that we can be present with a kind of dignity for it. It doesn't mean fear goes away, but rather that we befriend our fear and know that who we are is bigger than that. Uncertainty is a description of reality. You're always happier and healthier if you deal with the world and life the way it is rather than some fantasy that you have about it. There's the societal fantasy that if you have enough money in the bank or if you have enough possessions, you'll be happy. That's a consumer fantasy. Another is that you'll always have someone who's going to love you in this perfect way. And even if they do love you, that's today. You don't know what's going to happen next week or next year. We're a river of change, and we try to hold on. What we end up getting is rope burn. Things change. It's a kind of recipe for suffering. We're a river of change, and if we try to hold on, what we end up getting is rope burn. If instead we accept the fact that everything changes and discover that we can float, that we can surf rather than try to stop the waves, then our life becomes more responsive. It becomes more of a dance, and there's a tremendous joy that comes in it. There's a certain grief and loss that must be honored and felt, but it's not the end of this story, and it's not who you really are. That's a limited identity. You were that for a while. Now you're going to be something else. And that's the way life unfolds itself all the time. Thank you. And Breathe.